And hello everybody, I know it's been a little while, but I am back with another video. And today I'm going to be taking a look at how the SCCBS Ninjago Mechs or EVO Mechs have evolved over the 2 years that they've been around. The 3 sets I'm taking a look at here, these aren't all the SCCBS mechs that we got from Ninjago, but these are the 3 that I'm taking a look at today. We have Zane's Power Up EVO Mech. We have Zane's Power Up Mech EVO from 2022. Kai's Elemental Fire Mech from 2024. And then this is the side build, and then this mech is the side build, and Lloyd and Aaron's Ninja Team Mechs from 2023. So starting off with the first ever SCCBS mech we got in 2022. Yeah. Okay, now another factor I'm like going to have to take into consideration when comparing these mechs is prices, because they're not at the same price point. Like Zane's mech here was $10, 10 US dollars. Kai's mech then here was $30, but it also came with a pretty substantial side build. And then Aaron's mech here was a side build and an $80 set. So, but for $10, this is a really, really good set. And spoilers, but this is my favorite. Is one of my top 10 favorite sets that I own. This was the first time that we ever saw the SCCBS pieces here with these new arm/leg pieces, these armor pieces here, as well as this cockpit piece. And you'd think that since this mech doesn't have any elbows or knees, the posability would be very limited. And of course, it's going to be a bit more limited since it doesn't have any elbows or knees, but it is still very posable. You can still get this guy in a ton of really cool poses. I don't know what I'm doing here. This guy in a ton of just really cool and fun poses, because all the joints are mixer ball joints, and they're pretty much not restricted in any way at all. So you pretty much have full range of those mixer joints there. Now, a couple of areas where the price does affect the build a little is in one, the hands. These hands, I'm just going to say, aren't very good, but they do work, and again, it's only $10, so I think these hands are perfectly fine for only $10. Now, if it was like $15, $20, $25, then I would be like, yeah, no, these hands suck. Why do they do the hands like this? But it's only $10, so. And another thing is the back, where the back doesn't really look the best. But again, only $10. And the feet, okay, that's pretty much the same thing as the feet. The feet just kind of cut off here. They somewhat look unfinished. Like, I feel like I should like extend back a little bit. But again, only $10. It's perfectly acceptable, and it doesn't have any trouble standing up, so it's fine. And then as for weapons, it has this giant saw blade here. Okay, let's see if I can get a good spin. It's not wanting to spin, but it has giant trans blue saw blade, which I think works, which I think looks really cool, and it works. It also comes with this flag here, which all the core sets from 2022 and 2023 came with, as well as this printed tile here that most of the SCCBS mechs came with. The cockpit is very simple. You just pull this down, pull Zane out, and then there's the cockpit. Really simple. And then this was also the first time we saw this SCCBS armor piece, which I really like this piece. I think this piece is really good. It's pretty much just an extended version of this piece right here. See, except it's 4 studs long instead of 3 studs, and it wraps around the sides and has studs on the side as well. So I think that is a great piece. I don't have very many of these. I have like 2 of these in red, so I haven't really been able to use these in a lot of mocks. But I'm hoping to one day get my hands on more of these. And next up here is Aaron's mech. And now if you own this set or just know what this set looks like, you might notice some things off about this mech. And that's because I do not own Lloyd and Aaron's Team Ninja Mechs. I don't own that set. I already own a Lloyd Titan mech, and I don't really want another one. But I did want the Aaron mech that came in the set, so I pretty much just putted it together. I bought quite a few of the pieces off of Bricks and Pieces, like this dragon head here, as well as the this armor piece in bright orange. But this is pretty much exactly how it came in the set, other than just a few small pieces that are different. But overall, it's the same. And now the main thing different between this and then Zane's mech is that instead of using the standard cockpit here, that piece there, it uses a dragon head that can just fold down, and you can take Aaron out. There's what the inside looks like. And it's something that's also nice is that the set designers made sure that you can still fit Aaron in the mech with this big armor piece here, which was really nice. Aaron also just feels really closed in, which I do like, because the dragon head comes up a little higher, almost covering up his face. Then he also has these panels here on the side covering up his head. So overall, he just feels more closed in, which makes sense, I guess. I do like the hands here more. I do like these hands more than I like Zane's hands. They just feel more natural. And then the legs use the Nexonite's cockpit piece here. Kind of like armor, I guess. I don't really know if I like that or not. I think it just makes the legs look a bit big. Like bigger than they're meant to be. I'm not really sure if I like that or not. But as for articulation, the articulation is pretty much the same as on the Zane mech. I actually think it's better than on the Zane mech. Because on here, you don't have this armor piece on the leg here. So it can go like all the way up like this. Like this. Which the Zane mech cannot go that far. And the back looks slightly better than Zane's, I think. Because down here it's flat, but then you still have all these anti studs up here, which is a bit more annoying since again this is a side build in an $80 set, and not it's like standalone $10 set or something. And one thing that I noticed while building this is that while it does fit in with the rest of the SCCBS mechs, it's a lot more complicated. The build is like there's a lot more that goes into this build than your typical than typical mech. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this one. So moving on to the final mech. And finally here we have Kai's Elemental Fire Mech, which just released about 2 months ago in January of this year. And right off the bat, you will notice that this one is a lot bigger than the other two here. And that's partially because this right here is $30, while so it has a much larger budget. But then also it comes with a side build here that is a similar size to the other two. So there's also that. So not all of the $30 is going into this mech. And then this one uses the full size ball joints rather than the Mechs ball joints that the other two use. And then also in 2024, we got introduced to a new part in the SCCBS family, which is this armor piece right here. I don't think this is as useful as this armor piece here, and that's just because it's a lot bigger. So I feel like it would be hard to fit this onto a mech. Not impossible, and really actually wouldn't be that hard, but I think this would look maybe kind of out of place on a mech like this small. It would look kind of out of place if it was used on a mech of this size and not the right way. Kind of like how I think these pieces don't work here on the legs. And that these just look out of place because they're too big for the legs here. So I think if it's used in the right way, it would work on smaller mechs, but really I think it's made for medium and larger mechs. And then before I put the armor piece back on, you can see that this mech still uses the SCCBS limb pieces, except on the legs they have two of them stacked up to just create like a more bulky, just to bulk up the leg. While on the arm here, they only use one. Its articulation is, for the most part, the same as the other two, but it is, I think, worse than the other two. Just going over articulation, for the ankles, they can go forward a decent amount, but like back, they can't go back at all because of this bar piece. And I think that was for stability, so it wouldn't just fall back. But I don't know. These new ball joints are, I think, tight enough that it wouldn't fall back with a mech this size. I think the mech is light enough where these ball joints could hold it up. And then the leg articulation is a bit posable. Wait. The leg articulation is a bit limited because of this armor piece that the same armor piece that's been used on all three, as well as this next Knight shield and this wedge plate here on the waist. So the articulation here is a bit more limited, but it's not horrible. And then at the shoulders, the shoulders are pretty much perfect. They're full full range here. See, you got the same armor piece here being used as a shoulder pad, but it's on a hinge, so you can just move it out of the way. But then, when the articulation differs from the other mechs, is that it doesn't have wrists. It doesn't have wrists. And if you have seen any of my other videos on these mechs, you would know I hate that, and I don't understand why they don't have wrists. Taking a look at his weapon real quick, he has a giant sword, which is pretty cool. Hang on, was taking in? Which is pretty cool, but it's hard to get him in cool poses with said sword because he doesn't have wrists, and the only place you can move the arms is at the shoulder. No. And I kind of just showed off the other articulation, which is waist articulation. He has waist articulation while the other two do not. And while the waist articulation does kind of make up for no wrist articulation, it doesn't really that much in my opinion. Like the waist articulation helps, but it doesn't do a great job. Just no wrist. It really limits the amount of posability you can get in the sword. It really sucks that there's no wrist. The waist articulation is cool though. Just it doesn't really make up for no wrist. You can see this mech has these like energy effect pieces coming off of it to represent fire. He uses the same cockpit piece as Zane. Pull him out there. Pull Kai out there. There is a look at the inside. And then one other thing is the back. You know, that back doesn't look very good. That does not look very good. And for a $30 set, I wish they did better for a $30 set. But then again, you do get quite a bit in here for it being $30. Like this mech, like this is a pretty big mech. This is a pretty big mech. As well as you get another mech that is slightly smaller than Zane's mech here. As well as you get 4 minifigures, 2 of those 3 minifigures being exclusive, and then another one, and then the third one, a third minifigure, was exclusive for like 2 months. For like 2 months, this was the only way you can get that figure. But then she came in more sets in March. So while I wish the back was better, because this is a slightly more expensive set, I think where the budget did go was worth it. So it doesn't bother me all too much, unlike on some other sets. So now, which of these 3 mechs is my favorite? Well, you already know that's Zane's. But then out of these 2, which one do I like more? And I'd have to say I like Kai's more. Yeah, no, I like Kai's more. I hate that it has no wrist articulation, and I don't really think that the EVO or the SCCBS limb pieces work on like bigger mechs. But that's again, really, since it has no wrist articulation, it's just annoying that it has no elbow articulation either. But yeah, I do like how bulky it is. I do like this new armor piece here. I like this new printed tile here more than the older one. And really, it's kind of surprising that I like this more than the Aaron mech, because I'm not a huge fan of the 2024 mechs. Actually, I already took apart Cole's mech from this year and used it in a mock, which says something when I took apart a Cole set, which we almost we only get like 1, maybe 2 core sets a year. So the fact that I took one apart says something. And now all 3 of these have inspired my own mocks here. Even if some of them I feel like don't really fit in with the set that they're based off of. Or inspired by, since I built this before I got these sets in hand. So looking back, I don't really think this one fits with these mechs. Okay, but with that, I would really appreciate it if you took 2 seconds to like and subscribe, and maybe comment below which version of the SCCBS mechs do you like most.